Hello and welcome to Keeping Up with the Kerslake, episode 1, a new venture for us, kind of with the construction sport, but this is what we're going for, so let's see how this goes. But I'm here with Andrew Curtin, co-founder of Chronic Media, and we're pretty much going to be opening up discussions with regards to the construction sector, sports sector, and pretty much our backgrounds really, and the guests that I have on's background. So it's very much a trial period. I've not done this before, so it's all quite fun. But I'm willing to learn on the job. What's even more fun, and you, the viewers, can come on the journey with us. So, Andrew, co-founder of Chronic Media, how are you?
Good, Steve. Thanks for inviting me on. I'm looking forward to being part of this journey.
Yeah, you're the expert in the podcast world. I'm putting you down as.
I've a lot of failures in the media world, but I love podcasts, and I was delighted to come in and have an interview with yourself. And I know you have some good episodes plans, and construction sport is going from strength to strength, especially in 2022. It seems like you're really pushing on, so delighted to come in.
No, cheers, pal. It's good because we had the little discussion with you, probably where a lot of this ideas come from actually over the past months really with yourself, and we had those open discussions around the table, wasn't it? And you stuck the camera there. So unfortunately we've been told for a while about doing this kind of setup, and someone said the opportunity will present itself when it comes, and it has, fortunately. So what's going on with Chronic Media then?
It's you're catching me at a good time, really. I just brought on a co-founder this week, Andrew Spear. So Andrew and Andrew, Sachi and Sachi, they're probably going to nickname us. But so Chronic Media, in its simplest form, is a B2B media company focused on construction. Yeah. And our whole mission is make construction less archaic. Yep. And for anyone who doesn't know what archaic means, because I didn't a couple of months ago, it means less old-fashioned, bringing into the digital age. And it started out a couple of years ago as an agency working with construction companies and building out their marketing strategies and their content production, etc. Mm-hmm. And as it progressed, especially the start of this year, is the construction companies, they needed more. They needed better news, like more contemporary news told in a more storytelling way, and podcasts and events and stuff like that. So we're launching Construction Wave, which is being published by Chronic Media. It's going to be a standalone digital media website, and there you're going to get more storytelling news and kind of construction told in a different way. For example, the influence of crypto on construction budget allocation, something more out of the box thinking. But we're also going to give the executives the stuff they need to do with their job. Really looking forward to that, and it'll be launched in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
So it's great. I'm really enjoying it. Can't wait.
Yeah, you said you got a co-founder on board as well, so that's quite nice to have a little bit of sharing the load. Do
you know what my ego was too big at the start, it's just like I want it all for myself. But I talked to Andrew Spear. I met him a few years ago when we were working in the same building, and we met for coffees over the last few months, and we're just chatting behind the scenes. And I told him, look, I'm launching this digital media site, and we're going to be telling construction news and changing construction media in a different way and storytelling it. And conversation to conversation, he just said, look, I'd love to be a part of it. And I was absolutely delighted. And it was, a couple of weeks in, it's the best decision ever. Andrew's able to do things that I'm not good at, and I'm able to do things that, I feel I'm quite good at. And we just, after spreading the workload, and I just think I can see scale. I can see it scaling a lot faster than before. I just think startups, a lot of them are team sport. Yeah. And I've come to realise that now.
Yeah, I've massively seen it with construction sport. It's been very much I've pushed it and led it from the start myself, but there's been many people involved along the way that you cannot do it without. But now we're just getting to that bit of demand with it where people help out. We need them helping out more, really. So it's just scaling up, isn't it?
Yeah, you're scaling up big time. It's good to watch you.
Yes, it's terrifying times, but at the same time it's exciting. It keeps you motivated, doesn't it, really? But that's the main thing. And I think you can see, and that's why I think we've been so interested. We're quite aligned with. We both can see there's something wrong with the industry to a certain extent, that we want to do our bit to modernise it and make it better, innit? But we see that with obviously the next generation, kind of, as you've mentioned with the event, of bringing the youngsters into the industry, isn't it? How we can appeal. You've just put out an article this week, actually, what I really liked, in relation to Gymshark, wasn't it? And how they're captivating the audience.
Yeah, I guess that's a big part of my message really, and Chronic Media's message is looking at different industries and really successful consumer brands and just say, okay, how can construction take a pinch or a leaf from their book and implement it into their own? And a lot of executives would laugh at you. It's just say, how are we anywhere related to Gymshark? And said, look, you are, mate. You know, you are related to Gymshark. It's like they're taking all your graduates.
Yeah. They need people. You need people.
Yeah. So that's the big thing, really. I'm a big believer in constructions has plenty of values. There's lots of bad things about the industry too, and it's well publicized, but there's lots of good things, but it's just they don't put those good things and put them on steroids.
No.
You know,
and the bad things are.
So and the power of media, like you just say, look, let's be honest, media gets prime ministers into office, you know, media gets presidents into the US office. I guess prime ministers out of office just as fast. So yeah, we just want to come in at a different angle, give you the news you want to do, but just tell it in a storytelling way. And yeah, look, I'm really looking forward to having a crack off it, you know.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I think there's plenty of people out there as well, isn't it? You're probably identifying a number of these people as well who are at their moment, and literally there isn't an audience that's willing to give, or there isn't a organisation that's willing to give these people this platform. Really, I've noticed, and there's so many people on there. Some other organisations or people, like you say, archaic, being the first time I've used that word, dinosaurs, I'd probably say, in a polite way. Yeah. But it's literally, that people aren't. It's as if people aren't brave enough to give these people the shot. You know what I mean? But it fits the modern day world. What some of these people are trying to do, I think.
Yeah, I think big problem with construction, and remember a friend of mine from Lindley's, Danny, who's speaking at our Next Gen event the end of May. He said a true point is that construction don't have enough leaders for kids to look up to.
No.
Do you know, like you look at tech, you've Elon Musk, you've Mark Zuckerberg, you have the guys from Stripe, and you've all these different founders. Like look at Stephen Bartlett and his digital media as
Dragon's
well.
Dens took a punt on him, really, didn't they?
Just kids look up to that. Like, you know, unfortunately, construction just don't have that yet. I do think it's changing very slowly. I think it's changing, but very interested in that side. You know, obviously the industry's in a massive labour crisis. Yeah, and I think communications is a big part of that.
Yeah, saying that, who is the company in America that manages all the sport? Jay-Z's got the record.
Barstool Sports, is it? No,
sorry, no. There's one that's got Jay-Z and it's got all the R&B guys behind it, but they've also got the sports side of it. My mind gone now.
It's a media company, is it?
Yeah, but it's like they look after all the different sports, all the biggest stars. But I'm going to find out the name and we'll get it put into this and we'll edit it. Yeah. But anyway, they literally got all the main rock stars, all the R&B guys. Yeah. Jay-Z's, what their name? But it'll come back to me in a minute.
We get it.
Anyway, they look after all the superstars out in America, and they use them to influence the youngsters and all that coming through. But they've also got into the sports world a bit now. But they're in America, but now they're also going around the world. What's his name? South African rugby cat. Oh, mine's gone blank now. Khaleesi signed to them. Mario Itoje signed to them. Yeah. All these big rugby stars as well now. Yeah. And they're pretty much saying to them, "You guys are bigger than the sport." But the likes of the RFU doesn't like the thought of an English rugby player being bigger than the game itself. But what these guys are trying to say is pretty much you need to realise these guys are bigger than the sport in a way because they can inspire the next generation, use them to come into the sport. So I think that's the same way. I listened to that and I thought with the construction needs to do the same, and that's obviously what you guys are. It's all about identifying them people in it and then bring it in because we're literally massively suffering at the moment, isn't it? The industry in terms of
I was there maybe 30-35% of projects are being delayed just because they don't have the labour. I know in America that's around that statistic as well. It's really, really worrying. And I think, I suppose the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. It's a major crisis. I don't personally think, like, even though it's a crisis, I don't think it's at the top of big companies' radar to try something different. I just think it's seen as unsafe and risky to try something different. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of companies that go out to schools and stuff and universities, and that's brilliant, but it's not scalable. You can't do it every day of the week.
No, definitely not. Yeah, that's the thing. Because there is now, because I speak to a load of guys now, so I even went for an apprenticeship when I first finished school, and I couldn't get one, and I wrote to all the companies. I don't think it's even the company's fault, really. I think it's the system of getting those apprenticeships, or like the degree side of it. But for people to get onto the tools through like for a carpenter or electrician, plumber, it seems so hard just to get an apprenticeship, but then it seems so hard to find a company that's willing to take you on as an apprenticeship, because all these companies have got pressures on them as well. So I think there's definitely something broke within the system there of how these apprenticeships are rolled out, but we need to find a way of identifying how it can be done and done better.
Yeah. And like the same simplicity of it is, and I say to people, listen, the young kids, they do one thing all day. They're on their phone all day.
Yeah.
So if you don't communicate through their phone, you haven't a hope.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're on it all day long, and
if you like it or not, it's the way the world's going.
It's just the way it is. And if you're just putting up Me Too type content that everyone else is doing, there's too much competition. As I said earlier, you're competing with Gymshark, who have the biggest leaders in fitness, who have tens of millions of followers, a massive engaged audience. And I emphasize the word engaged. Yeah, you can have 1 million followers, but they mightn't be engaged. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I've followed them along and I follow the story, and I'm not really into that gym wear. They're not really, their clothing is not probably not the right shape for it, maybe. Yeah. But I've definitely follow them. Yeah, just literally from a business perspective of how he's gone about it, isn't he? It's incredible. But
yes, and it's a great one. But again, Gymshark, their plan was not to, make a recruitment machine. Their plan was just to build a good communications company and sell a good product. And then as a result of that, they get good people,
Yeah. So I think even McDonald's comes up there above construction. I think I've heard this stat a few times. If you look at the top 100 employees that people want to go and work for, McDonald's is up there before any construction company comes in it. Yeah. So why is there just not any interest in it? Because you go around, obviously we're in London at the moment, but you go around London, and we've done this through the walk that we've done the other week, didn't we? See all these buildings going up and how incredible it looks. You've got buildings above you, buildings around you, and obviously got the work going on underground as well. Why can't we make that interest to kids, really? When kids love, my boy's 4 years old, he loves all his toys, diggers, cranes, anything. Loves them, but where does he lose that love for it? And then why is it not kind of picked up along the route of education to carry on it? But finding the way.
I think my last word on it is, for construction companies, look at Lego.
Yeah.
Look at the community, like they're after building, like they're what I call a cult brand, is where they have a following. Yeah. People are waiting for the new collections to come out, so they're like, you take a leaf out of their book, you're making the built environment lovable, and I think have a look at Legos, look at what they do, look at what they're doing online, and then just see how you can implement it, because you don't always need to talk about your new projects. You can talk about something else. No one's going to give out to you.
So the one I like as well, what I don't even like the drink, but Red Bull, what they do and how they go about it.
Fantastic media company. Yeah.
So cool.
But Red Bull sell drinks, but they actually have a media company as well. People don't realize it. It's separate. Like they sell the drinks, but then they have a media company where they host events, they get sponsorships, they advertise with it. But it's just all funneling into this massive brand, and Red Bull are like the pinnacle.
Yeah, it's so cool. I literally, they've got a big race. They sponsor Hahnenkamm in Austria, and there's like the Red Bull are all over that. And then it's even like the rugby players again. Jack Noel, he wears a Red Bull scrum cap now, didn't he? And then the guy who jumped out the rocket, didn't he? And literally jumped out from it in space or wherever it was, and it landed. Red Bull. That, But that's got nothing to do with the drink, is it? It's the thing, but it just pulls you. Like you say, it's a brand, isn't it?
If you look at all their content, it's high energy.
So there's the click. Yeah.
So there's the click with the drink, People don't think that, a lot of the best brands do that. They don't talk about the product. They might take a snippet out of a trait and just say, okay, high energy, let's do high energy stunts. Yeah. And then
that's a new way of looking at things. Yeah. Every day's a school day.
It's just,
good stuff. So everything's going to go live with obviously Concrete Wave.
Or Construction Wave.
Sorry, Construction Wave, that's my background. Yeah. The Construction Wave's going live, and this is going to be events. We're going to put events on through there, podcast through there.
Yeah, the main thing will be the newsletter. Is when you come onto our website, we'll ask you for your email. You can put it in if you want. If you want to just have a look around, there's no worries. Once we get your email, we'll send you the news that's going to be impactful on the industry. So the things you need to know about the industry, and as I said, it's going to be told in a different way. So the newsletter is the North Star. It's going to start as a Thursday newsletter, and then we're going to scale it up to a daily one.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit of resource goes into daily newsletters, so we're just waiting till trying to do more money in the bank so we can get more people to do it. It's just simple as that.
Scanning correctly, isn't it?
And then the podcast and the events then will be will be a side of that then, but everything, the newsletter is going to be the stem of the whole business.
Is it? Yeah.
Oh,
superb. So what got you into media and construction then, as such?
That's a good question. I done a master's in marketing in Belfast, and I worked with Kerrygold, if everyone knows the butter company. I worked in the marketing in Chicago, and then I went here and I worked with a digital sports agency, and my job really was looking at 600 or 365 pieces of content every week run by the NBA. So we looked after the NBA account. So I really got an eye for what works. So every week I say what isn't working, what did work, and you really get an eye for like people's emotions. And so that was Move Sports. And then towards the end of my time at the agency, I just done 6 months there, and I was getting the itch to start my own thing. I was just some freelance. I wasn't really a business as such, but because I'm involved in hurling in the Gaelic community here in London, it's all construction heavy, it's construction focused. And I started to give a hand with companies, and then my freelance fee was matched to my salary, and then I just started getting into it more and more. Mm-hmm. So the Irish in London connection is really why I got into construction. And look, my dad is involved in construction all his life as well, so it's all around me. And I find it just easier to start a business when you're network.
Carry it on.
You're going with the tide rather than against it.
I
just think there's a huge opportunity in construction media. I really do think there's a good opportunity, and it's different to normal media. It's much more quality focused. So, like, for example, if you have, the Times or the Sun, like consumer mass tabloids, that's just all about numbers, distribution. Like, get it out to millions, get out to tens of millions. Whereas a construction media company is, if I have 5,000 really, really engaged executives, like construction leaders, whatever, reading the content, that's enough for me, because those people are influential people. Like, for example, this podcast, like a stupid media buyer might say to you, how many downloads do you have, Steve? And you might just say, I have 1,000. But they might say, no, and we're not advertising with you. But if you had 1,000 Elon Musks listen to your podcast,
100%,
so
they're one of them.
So it's that's why I like construction and media as well, because you don't need to scale it massively. 10, 20,000 readers, subscribers to your podcast or newsletters. It's really, really valuable. And advertisers and sponsors, they want people who buy things. And these people are budget holders.
And we're
they have the ability to buy stuff. I wouldn't like to be doing a kids magazine because kids don't buy anything.
Too right. Exactly. The parents buy them, for sure. Quality. So that's all good then. So that's going ahead. Next gen event, we've got that next week.
So 26th of May, the Lexi Cinema in Kensal Rise, just by Queen's Park. So the next gen event is our first event under Construction Wave, really, and it's more or less turned into a launch pad, really. And I'm not going to harp on too much on about today, but I'm just saying, guys, we're launching Construction Wave. Here it is, and then we just get straight into the speakers. And the next gen is going back to our mantra, making construction less archaic. So we lined up speakers. Yourself is speaking, Multiplex, Lend-Lease, HS2. And a few more are coming along, so 6-7 speakers on the day, and we're all covering different strategies on attracting the next generation into construction. I like looking at the lineups. Sport is going to be a big part of it. I'd say about 40 or 50% is going to be talking about sport and how.
And that's not even me.
That's not even you. It's not even you. The sport just seems to be massive.
Brilliant.
And then we have Tiernan Dixon, who's from BITA, who's going talking about the more sustainable side and how the next generation are more interested in inclusive figures and sustainability and what companies are doing around corporate social responsibility. So we have a good range of speakers talking about all those different traits that are going to attract people into the industry. And it's going to be 75 people in 75-seater cinema in Kent. It's a
plus one. I just got one more ring me up this morning. Actually,
yes,
so I've got to put you down my guest.
Yes,
that's all.
So I'm looking forward to it. I'll be honest. Events are stressful, you know yourself.
100%. But one thing I like about it, and this is what so appeals to me, is because you go to a lot of these events, and you obviously there's a reason why you're doing it and the way you're doing it is because you go to a lot of these, and I've been to a few recently, and it's just you'd think you'd be walking into a funeral rather than actually something you're supposed to go and enjoy, to put it bluntly.
So some of these are fairly boring.
So yours is in the cinema.
Yours is in cinema in West London. It's a fairly different vibe. It's it'll be good, and I'll be MC / owner organizer / chief cleanup officer. The event really really narrows in on what we believe in. Chronic Media is just changing things up, doing something completely different, and we want good content out there, but like, if I be selfish about it as well, I'm doing it as well to build my network, because we're launching. I said we're launching a new platform in Construction Wave. So, look, being able to put on a good day for these people and just getting to know them and just say, hey, we're launching something that we might be able to help you. And it's actually off to a great start, even in the pre-launch. It's amazing when you're trying to sell. When I first started, you're trying to sell like marketing consultancy services. No one wants to be your friend, but all of a sudden when you're a news publication, everyone wants to be your friend.
And we've noticed actually just recently, one company says yes to you, then because that company says yes, then all them other people who ignored you for years and they go, how are you, Steve, how are you getting on?
We're just after winning a job there, out in Haringey. Can you give us a little plug? And it's like, nah.
It's funny, and that's the difference between business and pleasure, isn't it? You've got to realise, on a business perspective, you've got to take the rough with the smoother, isn't it? Because I've noticed that lately. Someone said, now Steve, give me a ring. I think, funny you call me now and you want to say what you want to say, but you're thinking, maybe I best hold that one back.
I so want to say that sometimes. It's just like, I just want to say, listen.
Love to see you.
Yeah, listen. When I was eating beans and toast, you wouldn't listen.
Exactly it. Yeah,
I'm up to avocado, and I've gone off to avocado and toast. Still beans and toast some months.
Brilliant stuff. Great stuff. But cool. Well, super then. I think we've pretty much got everything there. But
thanks a lot, Steve. And tell us, before I go, I'll ask you a question. Go on. What's the plan with keeping up the Kerslake?
Keeping up the Kerslake, so hopefully, this is the kind of start. So the next couple of episodes are all going to be kind of based where we are today, literally just seeing where it goes, really. I think a lot of probably you see from myself is I'll just go out there and try something and I'll pull it out to the millions or the few, shall we say, and just see what comes back, pull it out, see if I'm not afraid of trying something to see if it works or not. But all I've noticed is that every time I try and do something, it seems to get people like a trier. I think that's what I find. So
with all the things you're doing at Construction Sport, I think all this, like a podcast, it's just tying things in together.
Yeah, that's it. It does it, Paul. And there's still so much, believe it or not, I'm not actually as opinionated as I want to be online with everything I say and stuff. I keep a lot back to myself, and I actually know that when I thought I had the thoughts years ago of going out and just saying what I thought, but I realised I'd be cancelled in a matter of days. That was before things were being cancelled as well, I think. So it's just doing it smartly, really. And now it's just a case of that we're growing and growing and growing, but I think there's definitely messages the industry needs to know, because stats aren't changed. They would have got worse. The stats we still listen to are pre-COVID. So the industry needs to wake up still. It's still quite disgusting now, the sort of suicide side of things, and our mental health still is not being addressed properly. I can do what I can do. Charities can do what they can do, but it ultimately needs to change from the top, and we just need to keep on shaking and beating the drum, really, to make that change.
It's fantastic what you're doing, and there's so much going on. It's just all these, like a podcast and the events, like just tying everything together, because I don't know about you, but do you find it like there's be so much going on, you want to one stem, like one tree, like, and that's kind of what I'm doing with the newsletter. It's just like that's the North Star. Like, you know,
So
everything else is secondary. You know.
Yeah, we've just literally got our digital health platform live yesterday. So we've got that all together and we've rolled that out. That went out to a number of companies and it's gone so successful that we've actually stopped using the first 5 companies as a pilot scheme because we literally was targeting 150 people in the first month, and from what we had proposed in front of us was 700 plus, and we realised it's going to be too much too soon and we won't be able to manage it. So we've literally spoke to 5 companies, said we're going with you first, and then we've got the next 5 companies waiting as well, ready to come onto it. But we're just making sure we do it right, because we know from the statistics what this platform's delivered in other industries, that what we're going to get back and the information we're going to find is potentially going to be kind of industry changing, really. And then we need to make sure we document that as a pilot scheme correctly and then take it to the right people to say that we've done this in a matter of weeks in comparison to what's been done in the last few years. This needs to be taken serious. So, yeah, the stats aren't changing at the moment, so we will just keep them, like I say, beating the drum. And obviously with people like yourself giving us the opportunity, massive thank you for the event that you're doing as well, and giving us the opportunity.
Delighted.
You give us a stage with a few of the videos we've done before and those conversations, but no, we're always here, and thank you for coming on. You're Mr. Number One, so
no worries.
Episode 3 million, you always remember you were always number one.
No worries. Thanks for having me, Steve.
No, brilliant, lovely. Cheers, Anne.
Be good.
Take care.
No.
Thank you very much. That is Andrew Kerslake of Chronic Media for episode 1 of Keeping Up with the Kerslake.